We also want to say a happy birthday today to Karen Meyer, the mom of the 21 Sport Mod Cameron Meyer. So happy birthday to Karen Meyer, birthday today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has all come down to this here this season. Into turns 3 and 4. Green flag is out, and we're underway here at the Off Road Speedway. Steven Sandiford out to the early race lead. Here comes Ryan Rohde on the top side. A little bit of contact through turns 1 and 2, side by side for the race lead into turn number 3. Neil Brune sits in that second spot, 3 wide for 4th, 5th, and 6th as Troy Brune's trying to keep a handle on it. Into the infield, the 9103 goes. He will get shuffled all the way to the back of the pack. Meanwhile, Neil Brune's great run off turn number 2, side by side with Ryan Rohde for that second spot. Now falls back just a little bit. Sandiford pushes up the track through 1 and 2. Here comes Chad Brune, right behind them. Could not complete the slide job on the 77 of Milky. Back behind Milky and Bruins is the 90 of Phillips. But out in front, so far, it is Steven Sandiford in the 7S. Car pushing up the track ever so slightly. Track still a little bit greasy out here as drivers trying to navigate the greasy track. Sandiford pushes once again through turns 1 and 2. Rohde right on the back bumper. Neil Brune's there in the 74 car as well. Then a couple car lengths back to Chad Brune's trying to catch up to the top 3. Then TJ Milky, Lucas Phillips. Troy Brune's in the 9103. Turns off the raceway. He will be done for the heat race as we got him 3 deep coming into turn number 3 for a split second. Sandiford pushes up the track. Here comes Rohde. Brune's to the inside now. As is going to be Ryan Rohde, your new race leader. Brune's and Sandiford side by side down through turns 1 and 2. Brune's with a better run off of turn number 2. He's going to take over your second place spot. Sandiford gets shuffled back to 3rd. Chad Brune's in the 11 car sits in 4th. TJ Milky, your top 5 currently with 2 laps to go for your race leader, Ryan Rohde. Rohde in the 95 all out in front now. Neil Brune's trying to run him down side by side for 3rd between Sandiford and Chad Brune's. Chad Brune's better run off of turn number 2. Now side by side contact made. No harm, no foul. As Chad Brune's off the pace a little bit with a white flag coming out one more time and around here in heat race number 1. It is Ryan Rohde. Neil Brune's running 1 and 2, broke away from the rest of the field. As they come off turn number 4, Ryan Rohde's going to win heat race number 1. Neil Brune's in 2nd, Steven Sandiford in 3rd, Chad Brune's 4th, and TJ Milky, your top 5. Lucas Phillips rounding out your field. And Langenberg Racing be handing out pops, I'm told, at intermission time. As we come off turn number 4, we're going green. It's going to be J.C. Brune's. Tyler Steckelberg a little loose. Here comes Jeremy Hodgkinson through the middle, side by side with Steckelberg for that second place spot. Now Fred DeSivey skating his way into that 4th place spot. Then John Haddix, Austin Bronner, and it's going to be Greg Taylor. J.C. Brune's is going to have the race lead coming off turn number 2. But here comes the 26 car of Hodgkinson. Hodgkinson to the outside. J.C. Brune slides up the track just ever so slightly. Hodgkinson with a better run off turn number 4. Give Hodgkinson the race lead off 4. It's going to be Hodgkinson, J.C. Brune's, Fred DeSivey, Tyler Steckelberg, Austin Bronner, and Greg Taylor. Your top 6, out there. John Haddix at the back of the pack in the 45 car. J.C. Brune's getting all out of sorts off turn number 4. Now into turn number 1. She's going to go almost all the way to the back of the pack. Fred DeSivey moves up to that second place spot. Now Steckelberg back to 3rd, and then Bronner and Taylor, your top 5. Hodgkinson with a really big advantage coming off 3 and 4 now in the 26 car. Then a few car lengths back to Fred DeSivey, then a distance back to Steckelberg, Bronner, and Taylor. And then J.C. Bruns and John Haddix. 2 laps to go this time by for your race leader, the 26 of Jeremy Hoskins. Fred DeSivey still running second. Talked to Fred earlier. He changed a couple things on the car this week as he was a little loose in the center of the corners. Now looking like he has got a handle on that 31K machine as a white flag flies for Jeremy Hoskinson, Steckelberg, Bronner, and Taylor. Your 3rd, 4th, and 5th place spots. Coming through 3 and 4 for the final time in heat race number 2 is going to be the 26 of Jeremy Hoskinson. Fred DeSivey's going to take home 2nd. Steckelberg in 3rd. Bronner 4th. Taylor, your top 5. Getting some hot laps in, looks like. So this is going to be heat race number 3 of 3. And your last qualifying here tonight for your IMCA Stock Cars. As they come through 3 and 4, Mike gives them the green, and we're underway. Chuck Sands out with the race lead in the 74X car. Ron Pettit in the 12 car. Here comes Cameron Wilkinson to the outside. Kyle Wilkinson in tow right behind them. As Peterson gets shuffled all the way to the back in the 73 car. Hans Holfeck crosses over the nose of the 73 car. Travis Berkeley is going to have to hit the brakes, otherwise he's going to be involved in this race. And man, wouldn't that be a sight to see? Stock car versus late model here in heat race number 3. Chuck Sands, 74X, 3-wheeling off turn number 4. Cameron Wilkinson up to that 2nd place spot already in the number 5 car. Travis Berkeley going to take it pit side, hot lapping, done for the 78 car. But it is Chuck Sands 3-wheeling off turn 4 again. Cameron Wilkinson in tow along with Ron Pettit, Kyle Wilkinson, and Hans Holfeck, your top 5. Rich Peterson at the back of the pack in the 73 car. As Hans Holfeck spinning in turns number 2. He's going to keep going, so we're going to say lean, mean, and green here as Rich Peterson pulls off the track. Out in front, though, battle for the race lead. Cameron Wilkinson, the inside of Chuck Sands, takes over the top spot coming into turn 3 now. Sands 3-wheeling through 3 and 4. Pettit also in that 3rd spot, and then Kyle Wilkinson, your top 4. Hans Holfeck about a half a track behind your current top 5. Pettit to the inside of Sands now, as looks like Sands' car has tightened up on him, trying to navigate it through the corner. Wilkinson to the inside of Sands now too. 2 laps to go for Cameron Wilkinson, your race leader. It's going to be Cameron, Pettit, and then Kyle Wilkinson, Chuck Sands, your top 4. White flag flies for a 3-wheeling 5-car. Cameron Wilkinson. Wilkinson through 1 and 2. Pettit sitting in 2nd. And then Wilkinson, Sands, and Holfeck through 3 and 4 for the final time. That left front hiked way in the air. Number 5 car, Cameron Wilkinson taking home heat race number 3. Ron Pettit in 2nd. Kyle Wilkinson in 3rd. Chuck Sands 4th. And the big German Hans Holfeck rounding out your top 5. Coming off turn number 4, green flag is out, and we're B feature racing. It's going to be TJ Milkey out with the early race lead of 77 car. Here comes Greg Taylor to the outside. Back behind them, side by side, Lucas Phillips and Hans Holfeck. As top four transfer to tonight's A feature. Greg Taylor, the 55JR, out in front now. Over second place running TJ Milkey in the 77. Hans Holfeck and Lucas Phillips making up that third and fourth transfer spot. And Troy Bruns knocking on the door of the top four in the 9103 machine. Lucas Phillips to the outside, Troy Bruns to the inside. As Phillips hangs on to that fourth and final transfer spot. Up front, though, TJ Milkey trying to run down a 55JR of Greg Taylor. As they got 3 laps down, 7 to go. It's still Greg Taylor, TJ Milkey, Hans Holfeck, Lucas Phillips pushes up the track. Here comes Troy Bruns to the inside along with John Haddix. In the 45 car. Lucas Phillips pushed up the track in turns 1 and 2 and gets shuffled on back. Phillips now running in that 6th position. Top 4 transfer to tonight's A main. Phillips to the inside. Try to get her done on Haddock. Could not get it done, but up front, we got a battle for the race lead. Taylor still out in front on the high side. TJ Milkey running from the middle to the high side. Trying to get a run through turns 3 and 4 on your race leader, Greg Taylor. Taylor still smooth through 1 and 2. Milkey putting the wheels of that thing as Lucas Phillips through the infield on the front stretch. Milkey to the inside quarter panel, now dives down to the middle, working to the bottom, side by side for the race lead with 2 laps to go, coming off turn 4. Milkey to the inside of the raceway now, trying to get a good run off turn number 2, side by side for the race lead, now coming into turn 3. Milkey on the low side, Taylor up top, as it's going to be TJ Milkey by half a car off turn number 4. Milkey slips up through 1 and 2. Here comes Greg Taylor back on the top side. Into turns 3 and 4. Milkey to the inside now as Taylor slips up the track coming off turn 4. It's going to be Greg Taylor taking the B feature win. TJ Milkey in second. Hans Holfeck in third. 4th place is going to go to the 9103 Troy Bruns. Those 4 transferring to tonight's A main. Looks like we're waiting on the 12 car of Ron Pettit. As doesn't look like he is out there. So after being given the sign, Mike is ready to turn him loose out of turn number 4. Through turns 3 and 4 they come. Sandiford and Rhodey lead them. Here comes Ron Pettit in the 12 car, tardy to the party. Starting at the back, but we're underway. 3 wide right off the start in turn number 4. Sandiford out to the race lead by a nose. Ryan Rhodey outside. Here comes Chuck Sands in the 74. Side by side for that second place spot through turns 3 and 4. Now Rhodey pushes up the track. Here comes Sands and Stackelberg 3 wide off turn number 4 for a split second. Still 3-4 wide. Deeper in the field off turn number 4. Sandiford with the race lead now. Everyone's still leading me to green. Here comes Greg Taylor through the middle now. Taylor up about 8 positions in the 55JR. 3 wide. Oh, Taylor gets sideways. We've got cars around every which way but straight. Hans Holfeck, Kyle Wilkinson, J.C. Bruns, Ron Pettit, as the caution flag's going to fly. here in the stock car class, as Sandiford's going to run them through 3 and 4. We're back to green here in your IMCA Stock Cars. It's going to be Sandiford out with the race lead. Here comes Chuck Sands to the inside now. Steckelberg there as well. Greg Taylor moving up through the field. Neil Bruns, Jeremy Hoshkin, Austin Bronner there as well. 3 wide for the race lead coming off turn number 3. It's going to be Sandiford leading him through 1 and 2. Sands as Sandiford gets sideways. Austin Bronner nowhere to go. Hit to the driver's side door of the 7S of Sandiford. Fred DeSivey and Chad Bruns into the infield. Sandiford got sideways. Austin Bronner nowhere to go. Here tonight in your IMCA Stock Car A feature. As they come through turns 3 and 4. It's going to be Chuck Sands leading them into turns 1 and 2. Jeremy Hoshkinson to the inside of Chuck Sands. Tyler Steckelberg on the outside. Then Greg Taylor and Austin Bronner. Cameron Wilkinson and Neil Bruns trying to make their way up through right now as we got side by side for the race lead. Tyler Steckelberg in the 7 car. Slowly worked his way up each and every week to get a little bit better. Now finds himself out in front with the race lead in the 7 car. 3-wheeling off turn number 4. Getting a push from the 26 of Hodgkinson. Steckelberg, Hodgkinson, Sands going for it. Here comes Bronner into the mix as well. And he brings Greg Taylor along for the ride in the 55 JR. Sands to the inside of Steckelberg that time. Sands going to retake the lead. Oh, shot to the shorts up from Hodgkinson to Steckelberg. That gives Austin Bronner advantage into turn number 1 and 2. Steckelberg being shuffled back to about that 7th, 8th position. Chuck Sands with the race lead. Hodgkinson to the outside now in the 26 car. With the race lead off turn number 2, he goes. Hodgkinson, your new race leader. Sands running the bottom in 2nd place now. Greg Taylor up in that 3rd place spot. Austin Bronner around the bottom side of the raceway. Cameron Wilkinson now along for the ride. Your top 5 breaking away from the rest of the field. As Steckelberg battles for that 6th and 7th place spot as he pushes up the track. Here comes TJ Milkey with Hans Holfeck and Chad Bruns and Fred DeSivey now. Side by side for 2nd place now between Chuck Sands and Greg Taylor. Greg Taylor finished 4th last week here at the Off Road Speedway. Now finds himself in 2nd off turn number 4. Hodgkinson upstairs, run the top side, gets into the marbles, loses the momentum as the caution comes out for Steckelberg. Ryan Rohde. And looks like maybe no, that's not. That is Sandiford. Sandiford as well. So we're going to go back to green flag racing now off turn number 4. Green flag is out and we're underway. Jeremy Hodgkinson with the race lead. Greg Taylor running in that 2nd spot. Chuck Sands, Cameron Wilkinson, TJ Milkey way up the track as Milkey almost into the wall in the 77 car. As caution flag's going to come out. Jeremy Hodgkinson has that race lead. Greg Taylor in 2nd, choosing the high side. Chuck Sands the inside, then Cameron Wilkinson, Austin Bronner, your top 5 out on the raceway. Oh, someone might have jumped the gun a little bit, but the green flag comes out and we're back underway. We're going to stay green Greg Taylor rim riding around the top side in the 55 JR in that second place position. Hodgkinson through the middle, now down to the low side now. Three-wheeling off turn number 4 with the race lead. Taylor upstairs trying to find the moisture, carry the momentum around the top side. Hodgkinson down on the low side in a 3 and 4, now up through the middle. Has no idea that Taylor is there, trying to run him down in the 55 JR. Sands and Wilkinson and Bronner running the bottom side of the racetrack in 3rd, 4th, and 5th position. Coming into 3 and 4, though. Hodgkinson through the middle. Here comes Greg Taylor. Hodgkinson slides up and slams the door on Taylor. Taylor still upstairs through turns 1 and 2 now in the 55 JR. That car is hooked up and carrying a lot of momentum on the top side of the racetrack. Hodgkinson still running through the corners on the bottom side and then sliding to the high side down the front back stretch. Now back down to the low side in 1 and 3 and 4. Hodgkinson might be pulling away ever so slightly now as Hodgkinson pushes up the racetrack, that time by Greg Taylor, now closing the gap, coming in at 3 and 4. Hodgkinson overdrove the corner in 1 and 2 that time by. Pushes up the track again. Greg Taylor, great run off turn number 2. Give the race lead to Greg Taylor in the 55 JR. Greg Taylor out in front now. Jeremy Hodgkinson three-wheeling around the raceway with the white flag out one more time around. Taylor out in front. Hodgkinson second. Chuck Sands, Cameron Wilkinson, Austin Bronner. Last-ditch effort by Hodgkinson coming off turn 4. Cannot get it done. Greg Taylor, your A-feature winner. Jeremy Hodgkinson in second. Chuck Sands in third. Then it's going to be Austin Bronner and Cameron Wilkinson.